If you're here because you think that we're going to show you some fancy little trick that's just going to make you a better painter immediately, then you're wrong. Here at Pulsegate Games, we don't do that kind of crap.
Yes, we do. We do.
But I will share with you the things that I have learned over the last year that have made painting a lot easier and better for me. And hopefully they'll help you. The honest truth when it comes to painting is that there is no shortcut. Yes, there are cool little things that you can learn that will make painting easier, but they're not going to make you a better painter, if that makes sense. They're just going to give you some new fancy gimmick that you can try, and sometimes that's enough. Sometimes that's all you need. But the truth is, there's no substitute to getting better at painting. You just have to do the work. You got to put in the time, do the practice, and paint the minis. But there are definitely some things that can help you with that process. So let's talk about those. First up on that list is simply just having a good mentor, somebody to teach you how to paint, somebody to tell you what they've learned so that your process doesn't take as long as theirs did. You know, passing on that tribal knowledge to people. And does that have to be somebody that is in your neighborhood or even at your local game store? No. I mean, that could be a YouTube content creator. I talk about Ninjon all the time. He's one of the ones that I watch and I love, and I think he's fantastic. And his style, he does a great job of showing you what he has learned. But one of the things I love the most about that is when I try those things, they usually work pretty well for me too. And that's kind of the key, is if you have a mentor or somebody who's showing you, you gotta try what they're saying. You gotta try a little tenderness. Give in, right? You can't just stick to your own guns. You gotta try what they say and see if it works for you. And granted, it's not gonna work as good as it did for them the first time, but it could potentially be what gives you style, which becomes your way of painting in the future. The second thing is find a game that you like. Find a game that you want to paint for, whether that's D&D, Warhammer, War Machine, Infinity, Malifaux, any of those that have little miniatures. Find one that you enjoy and so that you'll want to paint more. You know, maybe it's just 3D printed models. Maybe you just want to do busts or statues or things like that. Find a way to get those and paint those. Don't paint stuff you don't want to be painting. That is the quickest way to just hate this hobby and hate painting in general. Painting can be awesome. It can be so fun. I love watching those videos where a content creator is painting a model that they really, really enjoy. And then lastly on there is models. Find a model that you want to paint. The whole reason that this video stemmed was because I started painting this guy. This is Chum from War Machine. He's part of one of their new 2-player packs, starter packs. And he is a shark, kind of. And I fell in love with this miniature. And because of that, I went through a process that I probably would have given up on if it had been another miniature. And here is that process. So the first thing I knew when I started painting Chum was that I wanted him to be gold, like a koi, you know, something like that. And so I started painting him, and I started painting with a sponge. One of my favorite mentors when it comes to painting is a guy called the Ice King. I'll link his YouTube channel below. He does really good painting. He's great. And if you want to know anything about War Machine, he's your man. But so I started painting this, you know, base colors with the sponge. And then I moved on to a paintbrush because I wasn't covering the way I wanted to. And ultimately, I gave up on both of those ideas just because they weren't giving me the coverage that I wanted. And I moved to an airbrush. And honestly, I loved how it was coming out with the airbrush. I got my gold on there. I wanted the underside of him to be white. You know, like most sharks are a different color on the bottom, and so I wanted him to have that white coloring on the bottom and the gold on the top. And so an airbrush was, in my opinion, the best way to do that. But it took me some time to figure that out. Then, Once I had gotten my base coats down with the airbrush, I went back and started doing some highlights on all of the edges and things like that to bring out the different colors that the shark would be. Now, this is what I say when I say find a model that you love. Because as I was painting this model, I wanted it to be better. I wanted it to be special. And so I decided I was going to try to do some tattooing, like some, Japanese art style tattoos. And this was my first attempt at this. And it was difficult and it was hard. And honestly, it could have been better. But for my first attempt at doing something like this so fine and without doing anything else, it turned out pretty good, in my opinion. But that's what I mean about painting. You got to find something that you want to look so good that you're willing to do extra work. You're willing to go above and beyond what you normally would do to make it better. And that's what this model was for me. I just wanted it to be the best work I had ever done. And in the end, Chum isn't done yet. I still have a lot of work on him, but I've tried things that I've never tried before. He's already become one of my favorite models that I've ever worked on just because I like how things have gone. And, is the tattoo the best? No, of course not. My hands were shaking like a freaking leaf. like it's amazing I was able to do as well as I did. So I got to figure out ways to get around that. And I know that with practice, I can. And I know that with practice, you can paint to the quality that you want to. It's just a matter of time. So don't give up. Keep going. Here at Pulse Gate Games, we are all about making your tabletop gaming experience a fun one, a good one. And so when I come up against stuff like this and I have new things that I want to try, I'll show them to you in the hopes that it can help you get better as well. And if you want to see that, please please subscribe, drop something in the comments below. Let me know your favorite skill that you've learned in painting, the thing that has made painting fun for you, the model that you have made that made painting worthwhile for you. Even if it was a Space Marine, even if it was a skeleton from D&D that you've painted 30 of, okay? Let me know in the comments below because I would love to hear about your journey and a little bit about what has made painting worthwhile for you. And I hope that we can share that with each other, and I hope that with time, you do become the best painter that you want to be. Because I'm going to keep going until I'm making these minis look like Ninjan does. Maybe not that good, but as close as I can get. And I hope I can share that with you. And as always, don't spend so much time building your world, painting your world, that you forget to spend some time in it. After all, isn't that what we're here for? To play the games that we're painting miniatures for? Till next time.